Well, as I look at everybody jumping on our team training call, here. Yes, as I watch everybody jump on here, it's so great to see everybody. Happy Monday, May 4th. Hope everybody's doing well and getting used to this social distancing thing. It's almost becoming a way of life that we have no choice to get used to, but I'm excited that everybody is taking the time out of their evening because we have a great trainer on here. I'm just going to see Dr. Szilvia here. Happening so fast. So let me just see Dr. Sil, 1 second. Give me 1 sec, everybody. Oh, there you are, Sylvie. There you go, Sil. You are now co-host. Let me just get you here and I'll unmute you. There you are. Can you hear me, Sil?
Hi, Gary. Hi, everyone.
Hi, great to see you. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our Monday night team training call. I'm so excited that everybody's taking the time this evening to jump on this call, and I'm just so excited to have my very dear friend, mine and my sister's very dear friend, Dr. Szilvia Pastel, with us. And I got to tell you a little bit about Dr. Sil. Aside from being just an absolutely incredible woman, she is the first practitioner in Voxxlife. And I can remember when we first started back in 2016, my sister was so excited and said, come on, we got to go see Dr. Sil. We got to go see Dr. Sil with this technology. And we drove to Burlington and we did the lateral dynamic stability test. And she was blown away like everybody. She was like, I think her words were, well, I won't repeat what her words were, but they were very, very shocking. So she jumped on board right away. She's an incredibly smart woman. Now, Dr. Sil has studied bioenergy medicine modalities since she was a little girl, since she was a young child, and has been working towards helping people's health and wellness in an effective, safe, and non-pharmaceutical way for a long time. Dr. Sil is the author and co-developer of frequency matrix therapy. In the last 30 years, her focus has been in polarized, polychromatic, incoherent, and low-level light therapy. This has led her to be part of various research and development projects in the bioenergy medicine field. She is the president of the North American Light and Color Therapy Associates Group and national educator and commissioner for FMT in North America, FMT being frequency matrix therapy, as I said earlier. She has won multiple Reader's Choice Awards as a homeopath FMT practitioner, and she is actively practicing, and her specialty is post-trauma and burn recovery, female TBI, and TBI post-concussion, and impacted conditions, autoimmune diseases, and fertility are her specialties. She is a founder associate for Voxxlife all the way back in June 18th of 2016. And like I said before, she is the very first practitioner when we didn't even have a practitioner program in Voxxlife. And she began to help her clients far and wide in the public sector as well as friends and people she knows to help improve their conditions and their treatments with our wearable HPT Neurotech. So we are just delighted to have Dr. Sil here. And without further delay, I introduce you all to Dr. Szilvia Pastel. Welcome, Dr. Szilvia. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Terry, for the long introduction. I mean, I see a lot of old friends and new friends. So I think like somebody who didn't met with me yet, like from the new associates, probably it was good to hear because I had so many questions lately. It's like, so when did you and why did you join Vox? Why and when? The reason, the reason why, because I knew right from the beginning that we have a really specific technology in our hands, which can do a lot better and a lot faster results what I can do with treatments. So that was my main reason, because as you said, I love my patients. So today, the first topic is the understanding homeostasis. I know since the beginning of Vox, everybody, if you ask them, do you know what is homeostasis? And everybody's like, of course, we heard it over and over and over. We've seen that. We have so much written materials about it. It's like, really? So now you explain to me, just as you will explain to your customers. Then the answer is like, balance. Okay, so today the first part, it's from the two series parts. Let's see what is really mean homeostasis. So right now I will try to share my screen, and hopefully it is gonna work. So are we good?
No, click down at the bottom still where it says share screen.
Hold on, I tried. Yep.
Click on where it says share screen.
Yep.
And then it should open a box on your desktop.
Yep, I see it. Like that's like
So click on that box that says share up top.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. Okay,
There
Andrew. Somebody's on the door. Sorry. Sorry, guys. It's just life happens at the same time. So, what is homeostasis? Like as you see in the, on the picture, like there is a balance board, and on the balance board there is a human being. So what is that really means? Like, have anybody tried to do that before? Probably not, but let's see how is that really looks like in real life. What is our body is doing every single second, and why? Like, it is the homeostasis, what we were talking about. So there is so many mechanisms and impact every second in our life. So when you will see this picture, it's like, okay, so how about if you imagine that you are the one on that balance board and you find the balance. Then I start giving you one ball to juggle with. Then I will give you two balls to juggle with. Then basically I give you more and more and more, up to 12 or more. Can we do that? Or how we can do that? Now, everybody is going to be a little bit different or to able to do this. Now, so when we were talking about homeostasis and why I told you guys that, okay, like, okay, I will give you on that balance board, the board to juggle with 12 different balls. The reason why, because homeostasis regulatory systems, it's a little bit different than what everybody will just know about it, mostly. So there is the HPA axis, what we were talking about over and over, so many events and so many trainings. Then there is the SES, or the sympathoadrenomedullary system. There is the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, and the neuroendocrine immune system, which I learned and studied a lot actually, and I love it. I still simply love it. And that's the reason why I kept saying that, like, guys, there is no fear and there is no anxiety. Like, just completely ignore those two as much as possible, because it is going to affect your immune system. So then there is an HPG axis, then there is a HPT axis, the brain monoaminergic system, the ghrelin-leptin adenopectin system, and the glucose insulin system, and on and on and on, right down to the cellular level, where we have the redox signaling and the cellular signaling system. So that's the reason why I said, it's like, I will give you guys 12 big balls on the balance board. Now, everything what we were just talking about, it is controlled by your brain. And that's, if you like it or not, that's the main control and command center for the whole entire human body. What that means in Vox, I still love that picture, like this picture. Like, I mean, if you remember, Terry, this is the first one, the first material, basically, what we had almost from the company and from Jay. And when he gave it to me and he says, like, okay, you explain to the field. He's like, sure, hold on. Like, because this is over 167 page of books, shortened version. I was like, okay. So if you remember way back, when I used the same picture where I said, it's like, okay, guys, so what is the nervous system? Is the wire in the house, and the light bulb is your brain. What we will need to do, we will have to use the switch, like the light switch. That's the technology which is built into every single products in Voxxlife. Now, we had a little bit more explanation about this, but that was basically the first explanation. How is this technology is working in the human system, and why so many people experiencing differently as from others. Now, that was the first visual tool what we had, and I'm still using it today, because this is one of the best, like what everyone else can use. Now, being me, and like, you know, like what I studied and everything, let's see a little bit more, like, deeply what we really have. Like, we have the Vox HPT is a very specific sequence and pattern of the neuroreceptor activation on the bottom of the feet that triggers a signal that aids in the brainstem reaching homeostasis. So when I had that sentence, like, and I asked back from so many associates, like, so everybody understand this? And they just go, oh, sure, yeah, we got it, okay. Now, if you're adding that 12 different homeostatic pathway into the picture, we still got it. Now, we had the eSmart after the HPT technology, and that's the CBT, which is a cognitive boost technology. And this is a tactile stimulation that translates skin sensation into neural activity for a drug-free, non-invasive approach to feel more connected, less stressed, and just a little bit more mindful. Now, I heard from so many people, including some practitioners too, that was like, sure, sounds good, but what's that means? What that means is different for everybody, but or every single practitioners, or what they understand, and same as to every other people. So let me show you guys what this means in my field. So when I start doing QEEG, and I start seeing these pictures, and if you remember when Kevin started saying, it's like, okay, so where we wanna be? We wanna be on the 401 on the traffic jam, which is the left side of the pictures, or we want to be on the beach, and that's your right side of the pictures. Now, these pictures actually are screenshots are from a couple of my clients. And this client had a severe brain trauma after a really bad car accident. Yes, we used HPT, we used different treatment options, nootropics and everything else. And even still, with those ones, the numbers didn't really change a lot until I said, like, okay, I want to do the follow-up screen. And we just had this, the sleeves. And I was like, I just want to see, like, maybe it is going to help for her. So when I will see these ones, within 20 minutes, I was like, that's another score. The reason why, because what you see, it is red, red, red. It is hyperactive. And you will see the chaos. It's like a basically overstimulation or understimulation, but how we called it's a cobweb. So from that cobweb to the right side, that's pretty amazing. Now, I will show you just a couple pictures, like even from functionality and commodulation, how is the brain is changing. And do you have to remember that the brain is your main command center. This is no but and if. This is where everything starts and finish. So let's see a little bit more closely when we were talking about like different brain functions. First of all, I will try to make maybe a little bit bigger. Is it hopefully better a little bit? Or more visible. So when we were talking about different networks, there is the default mode network, which is active during the rest and associated with self-reflective processes or mental stimulations. Now, what you will see in here is the same person. The first picture all the time is the raw data without any technology. Like that person never ever had no HPT, no CBT, no NEO, nothing on her. Then the second picture, when you will see, that's the HPT technology. And the third one is HPT and CBT together. Now, when we're going to go through these slides, you will understand why I kept saying that, guys. When we had the sleeves, basically we just put the HPT on steroids. And so, like, let's see why. In each areas, you will have to understand something. We are comparing all the time together the network activity, the network connections, the arousal, and the pathology. So each picture, what we were comparing is 4 different aspects. So when you compare the first one to the second one, means that from no technology at all to the second one, it is dropped down from the hyperactivity from 80% to 50%. And when we added the sleeve, down to 10%. And then if we will go through like the same thing with the connectivity, it is completely normalizing, and you can see actually on the pictures. And when we will see even the pathology and all 4 aspects together changing back to as much as possible normal, this is amazing. So now I had a lot of time to request that, well, can we get these pictures, please? Because I would love to show to my clients, and I would love to see even my patients. I was like, guys, what you guys have to understand, everybody's brain or the base point is different. This is examples, and we cannot give away just to use it, because that would be a misleading information. This is happening, but when it's happening, we don't know. And how it's happening or what's the percentage, we don't know. But this is just for us, so like just to have fun and see. So here is the, I think I jumped over one. Yes, here is the emotion regulation cortex. Emotion regulation cortex is uh, not just like anxiety and mood and how we will feel. It is risk assessment, decision making, and fear processing, which so many times they just put under the anxiety umbrella. So now this is a major shift. This is when I seen that is like sweet, because from 75% network activity down to 0. If anybody can show me anything else, even in the medical fields, that within pretty much an hour altogether happens, I would be really would like to see that. So now, same thing, the network connectivity and the arousal, the pathology, everything is normalized. So when you will see these ones, that 0, 0, green, 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 this is homeostasis. This is the no line, like if you remember the before pictures, absolutely no line. This is homeostasis. This is what we try to achieve every single minute. When your brain in homeostasis, everything else starts to normalize. So instead of 3 balls, like you will be able to juggle with 5 or 7 balls and more and more and more, because you're just in that stabilized, well stabilized stage. Now, the next one is the sensory motor response or sensory motor cortex. This is what everybody probably know, or hopefully everybody know already in Vox, because that two little area, it is your whole entire body sensation and motor coordination. This is one of the most important area in your brain. So again, if you will see these ones, like from 65%, I will try to make a little bit bigger, just to everybody to able to see it, what I'm talking about. From 63% down to 25% with HPT and CBT. And same thing, from the connections to pathology, and like it's normalized. This is amazing. So don't forget, again, this is your whole entire body, and you will see under like just a little bit of explanation with one of my friends, the homunculus, and how we know when we see the structural fMRI looks in my practice. This is how I know. Like depends on the region or the spots where is the problem. I know like what is the problem in your system. All right. So then the next one is, hold on, the emotion regulation cortex, which we were talking about already. I think I jumped over a little bit more. Hold on, I try to see what I'm doing. Bear with me, guys. So here we go, the memory network. The memory network, same thing. From 50%, one side was hypo and the other side was basically normalized. From 50% down to 0. And normalize the pathology and the connectivity again in long-term and short-term memories. This is important again. And when you will see, don't forget that 0, 0 means homeostasis. Then the visual cortex. Visual cortex, so many times, I have patients coming in and they were telling me that it's like, well, you know what? Yes, I know this is my eyes. It's like, are you sure? Because the eye doctors, they're checking your eyes, but it's not necessarily your eyes, or not just your eyes. It's maybe your eyes and the brain. So when you will see 100% hyperactivity in the visual cortex, and arousal is high. Pathology, which pathology means that what is caused the dysfunction, everything is high, we added the HPT, we added the CBT, and the result is 0. And normalized, green, green, green again. So now, when we will see these pictures, usually I used to say that, okay, so is that more understandable what this means, homeostasis? And homeostasis in the whole entire body, not just simple individual pathways or homeostasis regulatory systems, it's your whole entire body. Now, I shortened my PowerPoint for a little bit just to go through, and maybe Terry, maybe it will be easier if we will open up a little bit, like more questions from the field, because this is what I want everybody to see, to understand and visualize it. So because when you will talk to your clients or your patients, if you're a practitioner, and you will have these pictures in front of your eyes, and you know that your whole body is getting in the center stabilized stage on that balance board, it is a lot more easier to understand what's happening. I will go back.
You want to open up questions to the field now, Dr. Sil?
Yep.
Okay, let me just look and see if there's any questions. Let me, if somebody has a question, I'm going to open up. Maybe you can just raise your hand. And raise your hand, not visually, there's a little thing that says raise your hand.
Not on the, yes, not on the screen.
And you can do it. And I think, you know, what's really exciting is to understand homeostasis is a lot more based on your brain and what it does and what it controls, in conjunction with, especially in conjunction now, as we see with our amazing CBT technology, which I just don't go a day without either, because it's amazing. Like you said, it's like turbocharging our HPT. It's like giving an extra 50 horsepower, so to speak. You know what I mean? So incredible from that perspective, for sure.
Yes, because even to Neo and every single product, what Voxxlife we have, it is going through the different brain areas, or what we call Brodmann areas. And I know I had some argument like later on, not later on, like before, where the clients and the customer keep saying is like, so like, okay, but in my condition, what is gonna do? Because it's nothing to do with my brain. It's like, yeah, everything's to do with your brain, especially when we're talking about fertility and healthy pregnancies. What we're gonna talk about as a part 2, which is an unusual topic. I had clients or patients literally fighting with me. It's like nothing to do with my brain. It's like, okay, let me explain it to you. So, and now almost every single of them wearing the technology. And I wrote an article, and we will release it soon, about how important, not just to get pregnant, but even to have a healthy child and a healthy pregnancy. It will be a little bit of a different check.
That's going to be an exciting topic in part 2, which I'll remind everybody is not next Monday, as that's our prospecting call, which is hosted by Paul Lawson and Krista. But we have a question here, so I'm going to unmute PJ Butler. PJ, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please feel free to go ahead and ask Dr. Szilvia your question.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Szilvia. This is great. So as I understand it from what you described, there are different, I took screenshots of what you were showing, so I didn't write down the names, so I can't give the proper references of the brains, the systems that you were sort of reflecting. But the visual one was the very last one. Yeah?
Yes. The visual cortex, yes.
The visual cortex. So, okay, so those are parts of the brain that are getting lit up and not lit up. Is that, am I understanding that properly? And the green indicates that it's calmed down, and the red indicates that it's maybe not inflamed, but it's more
hyper.
robust.
Yep. It's hyper or hypo. Yep.
Right. So, and in the very last slide, so, and as I understand it, each of the three pillars was no Vox products at all. The middle one was the HPT, and then the final one was the HPT and the CBT.
CBT together.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So in the visual cortex one, it looked to me like the middle one and the last one were the same. So is that reflecting how they impact different parts? You know, it works on some systems and not as much on others when they're together, and
no, like what you're referring to, like the first one was almost looks like the same as the second one when we applied HPT. What that means that, like, I know like a lot of people said it's like, okay, there is not much differentiation. It's like, yeah, go down on the connectivity and see the number changes. So these numbers and how we will see it, you will see that something is already happening. And the end result, like basically all the time, we are the HPT and CBT, the last one. So when you're comparing through, you will see the changes, even with HPT, because so many times just the connectivity starts to change, like starts to normalize, then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I reached that stage. So like, no, the first and the second one look like the same only on activity, but not on connectivity. So like, if you will go back and you will see the changes.
I will. Thank you. So if I'm understanding, then you're really suggesting that they really work in tandem, and they should pretty much always be used together for optimal brain homeostasis and performance. Is that?
Yes. The reason why, because I used to say like, okay, you can wear only the sleeve, but you will need the actual baseline to open up. So without the HPT, there is no homeostasis. But when you applying together, when you're applying, like not all in all not on all 12 regions. So like there is homeostasis, but not as much, not overall homeostasis. So when you will apply together, there is a lot more brain areas were started to activate, not activated, I would say optimized, because that's the right words, like optimized, either or hyper. So yes, it is my suggestion, and I don't go anywhere without them. So it's like, because yes, that's your homeostasis, and that's your more homeostasis, if you want to put it into a little bit more understanding languages, when you're applying to CBT.
I think, if I might, Dr. Sil, Dr. Mark DeBrinket, PJ, said that when you wear the HPT technology, because it works on overall body function, so the fact that when you put on the sleeve and it works on basically the occipital and the frontal cortex of the brain specifically, then HPT looks at that and says, oh, okay, I have a helper now. This is doing the job. I don't have to worry about going here. I can work on the other parts of the brain, and body and central nervous system. And so they work, they harmonize together. And eventually those areas of the occipital lobe and the frontal cortex would get to with the HPT in some form or another. But it's definitely assisted it's like I say that maybe the guy wouldn't have scored the goal if he didn't have the guy that passed it to him, then didn't get the assist. So as Dr. Szilvia says, that the CBT is an incredible assistant that takes over an area that, maybe the HPT just goes, oh, okay, I see you got that under control. I'm going to move on and work on other areas. Eventually, the HPT would get and help with those areas, but not to the degree that the CBT was actually designed to do with the frontal cortex and the occipital lobe. I hope that makes a little sense, and I spoke at some length with Dr. Mark about that. So
yeah, that's really helpful in combination with Dr. Szilvia's. That's a lovely combination.
Great.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense now.
Well,
yeah.
That's great.
Thank you both.
Thank you, PJ. We have Jean Anderson. I'm going to unmute Jean. Hi, Jean. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead and ask Dr. Szilvia your question.
Well, one thing is, I guess because I'm older and not medically technical, I just found a lot of that very technical. Is there a way we could get this hard copy maybe in our back office so that we could study it better? Because it's very quick to get it tonight. But I think what you've done is wonderful. It's just very hard to come back. Brilliant. Does that make sense? What I'm
Well, what we can do, Jean, is I'll talk to Dr. Szilvia, and as long as we have, everything is okayed by corporate, we can certainly, I'll talk to Dr. Szilvia, and we can actually put the PowerPoint right in the Files tab of the Team Voxxination page. Okay?
Like these ones, like as I told you guys, like these ones only individual studies. Even with the headquarters, we are working on a different aspects, like as is overall studies, what we will be able to release. But right now, these ones, it's only for your information and more training sessions. So it is something it's gonna come out, but these ones is not gonna be on the back office unless if corporate would like that, but not at the moment.
So, well, that's great. Let me just have a look, Sil. And what I really, what really came across to me as you presented this before at the Women of Voxxlife Tower Summit in Toronto and talked a little bit about this. The really exciting thing to me is to know that, our brain is command central. It is, it is where we're getting all, the information from. So I think that, it makes sense that if it's the command central and we can get it into the right position to function at its optimal, called homeostasis, that every other system will work better. And it just makes sense. And so when we see both HPT and CBT working together to achieve some of the things that you're finding in your case studies and individual studies, it's really, really exciting to see that, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be in the best position to function, to deal with stress, to improve your balance, to, deal with all those autonomic situations that we sometimes can be a burden, like balance and energy and those things. So I think it's very, very, and I'm really excited for next week's call, when we talk about the second part of your training, which is homeostasis and fertility. Yes, it's an unusual topic, but I think Noelle, it was really funny because I just happened to notice a comment that Noelle La Liberty in Chicago made, and it's great. It says, so it says, I don't know what Amke sense, that when a woman's body is creating a life, it would be better while in homeostasis. It makes sense. She's saying it makes sense that when a woman's body is creating a life, it would be better while in homeostasis. So, I mean, that's exciting to know, and exciting that we have a non-invasive, drug-free, technology that helps people in ways they can't even imagine yet. And we've only just begun. And it certainly, you know, is exciting to have people like you on board and linking arms with us and doing the work that you're doing in your office to support the technology and to support Jay's mission and to support the other doctors that are on there. So I'm very grateful for you, and I'm sure the field is very grateful for you for all that you do and for putting this study together. And I'm sure that Dr. Sil would not be adverse that if you have any questions further after this call, it is recorded. I am like always, I will place this back in the team page. It will be in the units tab on the team page here under recordings, where you can listen to it again. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Dr. Sil will be able to answer your questions. If you reach out to her personally, either on Messenger or something, she can walk you through if there's anything that you're you know, questioning at this point or confused about. And so on behalf of the field, Dr. Sil, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for sharing. You're a quiet warrior in the background sometimes, and we don't hear enough of you. And I'm going to make a point of bugging you more and getting you on these calls to train the field, because I think it was awesome for the field, and you have just so much to offer. So not to be conscious of time, I am going to unmute everybody, and everybody can say goodnight and pass on their thanks to Dr. Sil. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody next Monday on our prospecting call. So make sure you invite any people that want to hear some amazing stories. That call is hosted by Paul Austin and Krista Taylor. Make sure you invite guests on that to hear the amazing stories. It's a great way to prospect. It's a great way to get third-party validation. And then the week following, which will be the, what is that, the 7, that's 11, that's the 19th? No, 18th, I think it is. 18th is when Dr. Sil will deliver her part 2 of this 2-part series. So thanks again, everybody. You're unmuted, so say good night all.
Thanks, Sil. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Big call. Good night.
Thank you.
Good everybody. Care.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for all you do. We'll talk to you soon. Good night, everybody. Great week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
Terry.
Especially when I have brain tumor.